usually believe in striking people, but she looks like the kind of person who actually would benefit from just one good backhand. Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka GeekX Chic, and we are back with another reaction to Squid Game Season 2. We're now on to episode 5, which is called One More Game. So, I mean, we're only in day 2 in the so-called 6-day games that are supposed to be running here. So I'm not sure about what One More Game is referring to, but it could be that maybe there's some form of an interruption that happens, right? Because we know that this game is different, that we've got an unexpected element in Gian being present. But either way, last episode, we started off the second game of the games, and unlike last season where it was the Dalgona game, instead this is a 6-legged race, which, as we saw in the last episode, can be pretty treacherous. And sadly, we're seeing massive casualties. The first 2 teams did not make it, so that was 10 people, because there were 5 teams of 5. So 10 people eliminated immediately. So it became very clear to everybody that the teamwork needs to be the dream work in this case, and that a lot of people are going to be eliminated if they can't figure out a system that works. So that's how we ended the game, was with the next teams about to join in. And back on the shore, we see that the offshore team of Team Takedown the Games is now reduced to just the hired help and themselves, because the police have said they are not going to get involved. So I'm ready to jump into this episode, but just before I do, a reminder that if you'd like to be in the know when I drop episodes, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell. All right, that out of the way, let's get into the episode right now. It's okay. Breathe, breathe. Just keep going. Just keep going. There we go. Constructive feedback. Thank you. This is what we need. Boom! And that's why you pick the best person, period. Okay, celebrate later. 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's go. What are we spending 4 seconds celebrating for? Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't be able to watch people either. I mean, you kind of have to so you can learn strategy, but it's so stressful. Yes, let's just focus on picking it up quickly and not falling on our faces, okay? That's what we need to worry about more than anything. Staying calm. Backwards. There we go. Can we just give a hands up for Hyunju, but keeping them calm? Here we go. Eyes on the yeah, keep your eyes on the prize. Anger works too. There we go. Celebrate later. 1, 2, hana, 2, hana, 2. Let's go. 3 minutes. Ooh, how's the other team going? We haven't even seen the other team, but I guess we don't care about them. They're extras. Who's doing this game? Okay, let's go, mama. Let's go, mama. Oh, Omoni, it's okay. It's okay. Keep going. Stay calm, Omoni. You gave birth. You lived through the war. You said it. This ain't shit compared to that. Come on. Woo! Yes, okay. Thank you. Cover that. Backhand her. I swear to God, backhand her. Thank you. Thank you. Remind her that she is a badass. Period. Period. You did this with real bullets whirring over your head during the war. This ain't nothing. And compared to actually pushing a big-headed baby out of your body, please. Come on, Grands. You got this. Come on, you got this. That might work. Let's hope she functions on anger. Oh. Caught. Bitch. This is the team that runs off of revenge. We love it. Vengeance is theirs. Move! Hana, two, hana, two, hana, two. Too much celebrating going on here. What's the time? What's the time? We all know it's actually not real because that game alone was like 5 minutes. But anyway. All right, talker. You better. God. Not the time for trauma. Focus. Okay. Be traumatized later. Do you? Do you? Because you weren't doing it. Ma'am, after all your talk, you're the ones. If you're the one who gets them killed, I don't believe in haunting, but you deserve it. I actually usually believe in striking people, but she looks like the kind of person who actually would benefit from just one good backhand. Oh, dear gods, now we're religious? She just gave up on them. Okay, great. Thanks. Awesome. That's not what faith means, ma'am. Faith is about getting through it. Let's go. Did I not say she needed a slap? I said it. I'm sorry.
포기하면 너는
We're all gonna
정지
die.
실명이 아니라 내 손에
Exactly. Know that. Know that.
빨리 해.
Pally head.
빨리.
Didn't I say that? Did I not say that she needed to be backhanded? Some people need that. I'm sorry. That's gender neutral. Sometimes you just need a slap across your face to get your ish together. What? You got 20 seconds. I swear if you got to pick them up and carry them. I'm scared to cheer. I'm too scared. I don't know. I'm just proud of them. Oh my God, they still have one game?
부탁드려요.
Just do it quickly. The plot armor. This 15 seconds. 다섯, 여섯, 다섯 개. Yes! Move! You got 8 seconds. Move your asses. I swear to God, pick up the middle and carry them if you have to. Literally, this is where you do the sprint. Like, I would have thrown myself at it like you do in baseball. But yes, underdog team, y'all doubted them. Nobody wanted them on their team. I know why y'all are cheering, because y'all still have to go through this. Oh, you thanking God after you said God abandoned you. This is why y'all don't have real faith. Look at the game masters are like, y'all done yet? We still have things to do. What happened to the other team, by the way? Wasn't there two going at the same time? That was technique. Not this high loser. I can't. Not Shibali. We don't have time for that. Oh, Dad did it. Okay, we're getting a few teams making it through now. I mean, I think her ex is looking at her like, if you'd been on my team, we would be leaving together. It's getting pretty slippery out here.
마지막 조. 준비.
Why are they the last teams? Did they choose to be the last teams? I would never want to go last. And interesting that they keep leaving the X patch on them. Like, that vote's been long over.
사람이 없으니까 오히려 조용하고 집중 잘 되고.
That's the right attitude to have, even though it's not how you truly feel, but it's all good. Whew, deep breaths, guys.
믿습니다.
Do you? You know you're gonna survive, so shut up.
우승자도 계시니.
Getting in his head again. Wait, that girl in the middle looks tired already. I don't like it. Good job. Do it for your baby. That you unnecessarily endangered with this. Music. What are we in an 80s boxing film? All right, 2 games down. We got good time so far. You got fast wrist. Holy shiz. Sir, can we talk about your hand dexterity, please? Marry me. Yeah, all of them are turned on right now. And he's like, that's supposed to be hard. Anyways, great, you're doing great on time. Let's go. This isn't even the hardest of the games. The hardest games in this one by far are the top. This is the one that screwed a lot of people up because you got to go and pick it up, just like the rock game. This is probably the hardest one because the hacky sack one isn't bad. Even I think I could do that one. And I'm out of practice. You did that ish on purpose. Right, backwards, slowly. Please, I'm just worried about this pregnant lady falling forward. I don't want that to happen. The last thing he needs for her to go into labor right now. He did that shit on purpose. This is so frustrating. Because at least Oil Nam was actually playing the games because he genuinely was enjoying it. Mind you, he also knew he was going to die regardless, but that's not the point. Right? Like, how do you... Anyway, you can sharpshoot your brother in the shoulder while bleeding. These theatrics. Like, literally, the only time Oil Nam really effed with the game last season was when he was in the Ganbu game, right? And again, that was really just to play with the idea of, how low people are willing to sink. But this guy, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know what to tell you, man. Juno, I think your brother's lost, Juno. Your brother is a little cuckoo. Let's go. Enough cheering. Y'all do too much celebrating for my like. Aw, I really like that he keeps looking out for her because he knows she's pregnant. He said, "Bitch, get out my way. I gotta know the rules." 2, 3, 4. Oh, you better stretch, boy. You better exactly. That counts. But if he had slipped on that blood, both of y'all would have a growing pull. I don't know what to tell you. Sorry, guys. I had a feeling you wouldn't.
263번, 415번.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy. And who was an absolute... Y'all thought the Gong Yu was crazy. This man is worse. This is a man who truly is enjoying this.
딱지치기를 많이 했었어요. 그게 나만의 비법 같은 거?
Now you know.
뭐 하나 물어봐도 돼요?
네.
She's gotta ask.
왜 보지 말라 그랬어요? 응?
아,
성격이 좀
Let's go with that.
덜 끝나서요.
뭐가
That's what I
됐구나?
thought the
엄마
pants were gonna pull.
그만 좀 물어봐.
You
뭘
didn't
그렇게
want
남의
people to see their
얘기를.
pants pulling in certain directions.
사람들이 많이 쳐다보면 좀.
뭔 수술
I really don't think anyone was gonna look there, but I get it.
만든 아니에요. 어쩐지 깨끗하지.
아, 그래서
He's like, they're a little too perfect, actually. For those of us who were born with them, I'm telling you, them sitting up like 2 beach balls, that just ain't natural. Something tells me something's gonna happen to you, number 11. They're not liking that you're messing with their cash. But I wouldn't mess with her, yo. She is militarily trained, so at your own risk. You know what's coming.
네가 지금 어떤 상황인지?
Good girl. How dare you? You want to rough her up? That's one thing, but y'all was looking at something else, so I hope she F's you up bad.
한 번만 더 우리 일을 방해하면은 그때 손가락을 전부 다 잘라서 소각로에 태워버릴 거야. 재미도 좀 보고. 응?
We just had to throw in the threat of assault too, didn't we? Some men are so depraved, it's disgusting. I am sorry, sis. I really am. But I think you should have known that was coming. Not saying it was right, guys. I'm just saying that when you go against a system like that, there's going to be backlash.
나는 우리 팀에 복덩이가 들어왔다고
Yeah,
봐.
it's not a condition, guys.
비석치기. 아, 어떻게 그걸 한 번에 다
Pregnancy definitely makes you have to adapt, but still fully functional. Well, for most of us. Let me take that back. There's definitely some women who have a very hard pregnancy.
월남전 참전 용사하셨거든요.
아버님은 훌륭하시네.
See the way his demeanor changed? Him and his dad did not have a good relationship.
여기서 나가면 꼭 병원에 가봐요.
When you
스트레스
get
많이
out of
받으실
here,
텐데 그 바로 검사해봐야
this
돼요.
man is a psychopath. Truly.
아, 전 오영일입니다.
영일.
번호도
Young
1번, 이름도 영일.
이름이랑 번호랑 똑같네요?
아, 그럼 참 기훈 씨는 성이
That's a made-up name. Look at this high kid. Yeah, the people smiling scare me. And this one, we got a box to get to work.
독립된 총 상금은 201억.
You're at about half.
남아있는 참가자 250.
255.
110명이요? 진짜 그거밖에 안 죽었어요?
Look at these people.
제대로 센 거 맞아요?
Look at these people.
다시 한번 세봅시다.
제발 죽을 고비를 2번이나 넘겼는데 겨우
Listen to them, right? Listen, Kian. These are the people. Listen. I need you to listen.
여기서 나가면은 다들 우리 집서 밥 한 끼
She's so
하면
sweet.
어때요? 어? 삼겹살도 좀 굽고. 어?
She's like, I'm not leaving.
우리들 집이 좀 좋아서 그렇지 넷이서 밥 먹긴
Yeah, I
충분해.
don't think Hyunju's
누워서
leaving
먹어도 돼.
because they're here
자고 가.
because they want to get surgery to finish the surgery. I bet you it's the money because I'm assuming gender reassignment surgery is not covered by insurance in Korea. Not leaving. That nod is telling me I'm gonna say whatever I need to this nice old lady, but she's voting to stay.
아니 다들 어떻게 이렇게 가깝게 살아? 아우 인연이 이게 신기한
Look at her
인연일세
son.
진짜.
Her son is not leaving. Oh, this is so sad. He sees it. He sees it.
해병이 뭐 목숨이 두 개도 아니고
That
나가야지.
doesn't sound at all like a firm decision.
우리 다 같이 필승 한번 하는 거 어떻습니까?
Daeho seems too sweet. I feel like we're gonna lose him for sure.
이번 투표는 1번부터 시작하겠습니다.
Oh, we're going in the other
1번
order.
투표해
Okay.
주세요.
Go ahead, young you. This mind
6번.
game he's playing is so interesting.
나머지는 엄마랑 채소 장사라도 하면 돼요. 알겠지? 응?
I feel like that's not what he wants. That's probably why he gambled in the first place. But we'll see. Is he going to succumb to mom's pressure twice? Or is he going to do what he really wants? He didn't vote for himself last time. He voted for his mom. Sorry, Mama. Kids can break your heart sometimes. Really and truly.
빨리 좀 합시다. 제 사진 해라.
Like, man, we got things to do today. And it's just, I don't know why it just hit me now that also the allowing for another vote is like, again, it's encouraging more gamble, right? It's a gamble of see the one, or it's gonna do one more, just so the pot gets a little bit bigger, right? It's a gamble each time, so it's just gambling within the gamble. Youngju's gonna vote circle, and I get it. Youngju's like, I wanna finish this surgery, and it ain't cheap. Don't judge her. She never said she would vote against.
125번.
I really need that guy to be taken out, though. He annoys the crap out of me. The high guy annoys me, but at least he's high. Do what you want to do, Minsu. Don't succumb to bullying, Minsu. You're 27, bro.
126번.
And he will sacrifice you in the next game, you dumbass.
일단 살아야지. 살아야 그 다음이 있는 거지.
꼴랑 7천 가지고 나가서 뭘 할 건데?
Just like last season.
여기 있는 사람들 지금 저 돈 가지고 나가봐야 빚진 거 10분의 1도 안 돼.
But it's still
다들 안
something you
그래요?
can put towards your debt.
저걸로 뭐가 달라지겠습니까?
네 맞아요.
Okay, but death will?
저거
Okay,
가지고는-
tell me exactly how much you're going to pay when you're dead.
이제 한 판만 더 하면은
One more game.
상금이 최소 2억
You're not making it 100.
4천입니다.
I guarantee you, you're not making it.
저 죽기 싫은데.
Pregnant girl, say something. She won't.
무슨 기회가 있겠지만 난 없어요.
Yeah, they're letting you know. They don't care. Everyone here don't give a damn about nobody else. That's the problem.
내가 장사하다가 진 빚이 5억이 넘거든요. 최소한 거기서
Claim bankruptcy, bro.
있어요.
그러다 죽으면 여기서
Exactly.
죽으면 당신 가족들 당신 시체도 못 찾아.
Is that what you'd like?
뭐 그렇게 어려운 거 시키는 것도 아니잖아요.
Oh, but tell that to the 110
보세요.
people that died.
절반도 훨씬 넘게 살았어요.
Okay.
이왕 여기까지 온 거 한
Pregnant girls really not going
번만
to say
더
anything?
해보자고.
They won't care anyways. These guys have pointed out they really don't give a damn about anybody but themselves, so. That dude is not even, he doesn't even know where he is right now. He's so high. Sorry, Gian. And look at Inho wanted to make sure you understand that by and large, this is the people. The people. Look, I never noticed the people dangling on the wall, those drawings before. But yeah, that's one thing that Gian, like I said, needs to understand is that, you know, he's coming from a completely different perspective. But in the end, everybody chose to stay in the game. They knew the risks. And unfortunately, for all the people, they chose these people for a reason. They choose greed over all else.
속행하겠습니다. 수고하셨습니다.
Like, we gotta realize that these people, that girl could give birth right there on the floor right now, and they would just say it's her fault for joining the games. They won't care about killing her. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he actually wanted to go out for her. Good for you. It's too late now, though. Interesting expression. Is he proud of himself? Does he feel like he's breaking Gian? Is that what he wants? Or is he a little disappointed?
엄마 화났어?
Nah, worse.
엄마라고
She's
부르지
disappointed.
내 사채랑 하우스에서 땡긴 건데.
Yeah, but still, like she said, the combined money of the both of you would be enough. You'd have about 150 million. You would have been able to cover it.
한 판만 더 하고
Neither of you
한
is surviving this, or one of you is not.
한 판만 더 하면 다 갖고
Respectfully, I
나와.
hope it's
그걸로
you. Your mom doesn't deserve this, although she did walk into it.
다음번에
Exactly, gambling.
새 출발. 어?
it'll never stop.
엄마 없어도 괜찮을지 모르지만
Clearly, that's what he's saying.
난 너여서 잘못되면 살 이유 없어.
정배 형님.
He knows your full name now. He looks like he's a kind guy. He's not even gonna judge him.
알았어. 야야야야 잠깐.
That's a good guy. You know, if you really care about somebody, you respect their choices, even if you don't agree with them. Even though this situation is pretty life or death.
어차피 결과는 바뀌지 않았을 겁니다.
그쵸. 이게 내 잘못이라고만 할 수는 없는 거잖아요. 응?
알았어요. 솔직히
Why is everyone so slimy?
우리 팀이 팀워크 정 좋았어. 한 번 더 으쌰으쌰하면은 다음 게임도 분명히 무사히
Yeah,
통과할 수 있을
sure.
거야.
다음 게임에선 우리끼리 서로 죽여갈 수도 있어.
Yeah, there. That is a game. He didn't tell you that.
감사합니다.
이 빵도 먹어요. 나리가 먹을 자격도 없어.
You're right. You don't.
그럼 그 우유는 놔줘요.
Miss. Oh, this shot. They did this last season too with the North Korean girl and what's we call it? The other one who sacrificed herself for her.
우리 집서 다 같이 밥도 먹기로 해놓고 왜 맴을 바꾼 거예요?
She never changed her mind. She just didn't tell you what she was going
수술하는
to
것
do.
때문에 그래요? 그게 그렇게
It really
돈이
does.
많이
It
들어요?
really, really does.
제가 여자가 되고 싶다고 고백하고 이렇게 바뀌고 나니까 달라지더라고요. 엄마가 많이 우셨어요. 아버지 연락을 끊으시고.
She may even want to leave Korea too, for safety reasons.
뭔 일을 했는데요?
군인이었어요.
계획은 있고요.
Probably.
태국에 가려고요.
Didn't I tell you? Gonna leave. There's a lot of people in Thailand that would be more understanding.
내가 전에 태국 가봤는데 거기 현주 씨 같은 친구들이 많아.
Didn't I just say?
늘씬하고 이쁜 애들이
Okay, calm down.
딸렸어.
No need to put down one for it to prop up the other. Okay.
괜찮아요. 괜찮아.
That's big. That's big for a generation. Oh God, you deserve that.
넌 돈 플러스 내 소울에 끼친 데미지도 보상이야.
Can we get to the game where all these guys die, please?
네가 우승해서 456억 다 먹었지. 그래서 내 돈 다 갚고 넌 행복 찾고.
No,
Whoa.
sir. The rap career is over. I pray.
내가 주운 놈 돈을 왜 갚아?
Yeah, we didn't.
너
think
그
that
머리로
through, did
랩은
we?
어떻게 외우냐?
Thank you. Thank you.
너 왜 이렇게 똥이 마려?
Everything okay there, children?
I'm watching you.
I think you should watch that hair and your hands since you just took a. Okay. I wonder if he's seeing sides to the game that he didn't know about before, because I mean they have cameras everywhere but the bathrooms. But I mean I'm sure he saw some of that happening last season.
이 안에선 서로 죽여도 상금이 올라가. 이놈들이 만든 게임의 일부야.
아무래도 사람들끼리 어떻게 그렇게까지.
지난번 게임 때 수십 명이 밤에 서로 싸우다 죽었어.
알았어요. 내가 잘 모르고 함부로 말했어요.
It's the way he keeps trying to undercut everything Guillen's saying. This group doesn't seem like they're the type, this one. Like, there's no like gangsters here thus far that we've seen. Bullies, yes. But gangsters so far. Period. She said, I lived through the war.
대단하십니다.
She's so cute. She's about to die, isn't she?
한다면은 이게 좀 말 못할 사정이 있는 건데, 아유 이걸.
I always did wonder that too. Like, I mean, this might be a little TMI, but you know, there's got to be some women that are on their period in here. Like, how do we handle that?
아니 내가 진짜 세무청과 엄마라고 생각해봐요. 아유 엄마한테
There may
이러면
not
안
even be a woman
됩니다.
in there. Or a man, I mean, in that mask. Because listen to the piano music. They're like, we're really playing this up.
내가 전생에 뭔 죄를 졌길래.
Play it up, ma'am. Good girl. Oh, look how the tears just dried up.
이름도 현주야, 현주. 괜찮아. 가자고.
I think we need a soldier in there with them just in case. So dramatic. But I feel that.
옛날에 호프집에 너 돈 빌리러 왔을 때 내가 못 빌려준 거
I mean, I really don't think it would have made a difference.
아, 근데 그때는 진짜 돈이 없었다.
Well, yeah, if you didn't have it, you didn't have it. But also, Guillen's mindset was not right at the time. He probably would have ended up gambling some of it away, if not all of it.
야, 그럼 여길 왜 다시 들어왔냐? 응? 나 같으면 싹 다 입고선 그냥 그 돈 가지고.
Why didn't you go back, Guillen? Why didn't you?
내가 네 계획을 망쳐버렸구나. 이건 놀러갔고.
Bro, you
네
weren't the
잘못
only one.
아니라니까.
Honestly, Guillen underestimated how these people think.
너 자다가 울었다고?
응.
엄마 밥 줘하면서?
응.
He's like,
보다가 와, 덜 떨어진 새끼. 자다가 일어나서 나 없으면.
That's a real friend. He's like, you really cannot survive without me.
구박하고 있네 진짜. 진짜야? 니네 엄마 보고 맹세해. 거기다 왜 우리
that's
엄마를
right on his
걸어?
dead
니네
mom.
엄마를 걸어야지.
Right,
누구 엄마를
exactly.
걸으니까 진짜. 결혼도 나 때문에 했지? 아니 결혼은 내가 좋아서 했지. 이혼을 너 때문에 했지. 나야말로 너 때문에 가영이 엄마랑 해. 경마장도 네가 처음에 나
Y'all are
데리고
really
간
bad
거고.
for each other. It's true.
계속 영
He did get you to forget about the weight of the world for a minute. She's been in there a minute.
아직 안 나왔어요?
That's what I'm saying.
네.
Check on her. She might have given birth.
왜 이래요? 어디 아파요?
Okay, maybe not. Okay, maybe she's just freaking out.
무서워요.
Okay, good. Thank goodness that's all it is. Whew. I was scared maybe she was going into labor because she looks like the kind that would try to deliver that baby in the bathroom by herself. I don't know. I keep wondering if they make an exception and let her go because she's pregnant. I mean, with y'all's birth rate in Korea, you got to let that girl go for real.
박 선장님 조심하세요.
I don't trust you, Captain Park. Still don't.
고기 몇 마리 잡을 테니까 회나 좀 떠줘.
여보시오, 낚싯배 탔어?
Thank you. Does this look like a place where we're going to be getting some delicacies on the way? Period. No one eats till we find the island. Okay, I'm lying. You get to eat, but rations.
밤새 뭐 하라고?
That's true. You can't do much at
선장님
night.
뭐 노래하고 춤이라도 춰줄 건가?
Okay, so you're getting disrespectful. You were fine until you got lippy.
시후 세 번째 게임이 시작됩니다.
I'm wondering when he's going to tap out of this game.
자리에서
And who's running things while he's in here?
넌 궁금해 하지도 마. 저거 한 번 시작하면 제정신으로 못 돌아가.
Yeah, look at those idiots.
그리고 여기서 나가면 저 새끼들하고는 절대로 엮이지
Seriously,
말고.
run and hide. Those men are the kind of that will ruin your life.
넌 여기서 오래 못 버텨.
Damn, thanks for the vote of confidence. That might be the other reason he's hanging out with the bullies, right? The sad reality is that the lackey does tend to get somewhat outside of the worst of the bullying. But also, they strip them down and check everything before they get into the game. So clearly, they let him have his drugs.
다 같이 잘해서 이번 게임 끝나고 같이 나가면 되잖아요.
Oh, she's trying hard. Kind of wondering what her situation is. Is she just shy? Oh God, what is this now? It looks like the platform game, but they wouldn't do that again, would they?
짝짓기 게임입니다.
New game again.
나같이 짝짓기.
They said you're not messing us up, Gian. You got one shot to mess us up, and that was in game one.
중앙의 원판으로
But they couldn't have
올라가
prepared
주세요.
that in a short amount of time. They must have already planned on different games.
게임이 시작되면
Begin
원판이
to rotate,
돌아가고 숫자가
and you will hear a
발표됩니다.
number. Okay.
30초
You
안에
must form groups of that size. Okay. Go to the rooms and close the door within 30 seconds. That's a lot of doors.
당황하지 말고 침착하게 서로 믿고 나오자 없이 나가는 겁니다. 자.
You know, sir.
게임을 시작하겠습니다.
Whoa, it's like being on a giant record. I'm sorry, that'd be so fun. For me. Maybe not for everyone else. Not the dying part, just the being on the record. See, my happy ass would be up on those horses. I need this guy out. I need the two people who love their pills too much to be out. We ended on the game. Y'all need to stop doing this to me, yo. You need to stop doing this to me. I can't even complain though, because that was a long episode. That one was on the long side. But yeah, so we are continuing on, and the title of the episode as we see, is referring to the mindset that this group of gamers has. And I have to say, I really like that with this season as well, they're kind of shifting a lot of things outside of, like I said, the games being different. Also, just the group and the crowd being different. I'm glad that they didn't just kind of lift and shift as far as the type of characters we got last season versus this season. I mean, there's some similarities, like, you know, Mr. Purple Hair Rapper, Mr. Thanos, as he calls himself. He very much reminds me, him and his little lackey there remind me a lot of the gangster from last season and and his lackeys, but they're nowhere near as intense, right? They're kind of more, as I said, bullies. This season, we don't really have that hardcore gangster type of energy from anyone yet, where they're willing to be entirely cutthroat, right? We did see that Thanos did push some people down during the red light, green light. Like, that's probably the most brutal thing he's done thus far. But if you think about it in the grand scheme, like, it's not nearly as brutal as what we saw last season with the gangster actually going to personally take people out, right? So anyway, I'm just liking how it's just because this is a different group. And like I said, from episode 2, like, this group is way more vocal. They're way more like, they're cheeky. They're talking back. Like, last season, we didn't really get as much of that from the group, right? Everyone kind of was more to themselves, I guess you could say. But this group is very, like, it's giving me very millennial Gen Z. Like, we're going to question everything. We're going to be piping up. We're going to be in your face. We do not care. And that's not a bad thing per se. Like, stand up for yourself. But either way, I just like the mentality is very different this time around. And I think part of that is them introducing the element of the vote after every game, right? Because last season, the vote didn't come until, what was his name? I can't remember his name, but Guion's bestie there, who made it to the end. He was the one who said, hey, what about the rule that says we can vote to leave, right? No one even remembered that rule up until that point. And even after that, they had the one vote and then they never brought up the vote again. Everyone just assumed that they were going to continue with the game. But introducing this element of having the vote after every game, it gives them first of all, the true reality, which is that they are continuously making the choice, right? Which I do believe is something that potentially Ino, or whoever is above Ino, who's maybe watching this whole thing, because I'm assuming at this point that the person that Gion's been interacting with continuously has been Ino, but we know that there could be, so we know there's someone above him, actually. We know that for a fact, but I'm not sure whether or not it's him that's been conversing in those phone calls and through the pig with Gion, or if it's been Ino. We're not sure yet, but either way, let's say that it is Inho. I'm wondering if he's the one who said, let's introduce this vote after every game, because the big thing that Gion keeps trying to push out there, like what he tried to put out there with Gong Yu's character, and then when he had the conversation in the taxi, he keeps insinuating that the people in this game have been pushed and forced there against their will, and that, like animals, they've been herded into this corral that they can't escape, and then picked off for fun, and, you know, everyone in here is a big victim, right? And to me, Ino and Gong Yu both try to say to Gion and try to bring him to the idea that, again, as I said, them being the people being pulled into the game, that absolutely is manipulation, right? They did manipulate them into coming to the game. They did not tell these people from the get-go that this is a game where if you lose, you die, right? Because a lot of them would not have done this if they knew that was the reality. However, from that point forward, when they did see the reality of the game, when they did see that a lot of people didn't even make it past day 1, they had the choice to leave. They had the choice to get out repeatedly. In this case, repeatedly, but in the first one, they had the choice to leave, and they came back, right? They did leave. They left. The vote went the way that they wanted. They went home, and more than half of them came back, right? I remember that from last season, saying that it was only like, I think they said like only less than 10% didn't come back. So all of this to say that I believe that Ino or whoever else it might be, they keep introducing this vote so that it is being reinforced repeatedly that you can leave at any time. Again, it's the bread and the lottery. They're like, you can leave right now. The pot is at this. You might have 20,000, or in this case, 70,000, right? Is it enough to live off of? No. But is it enough for for some of them to pay off their debt, or at least make a dent in their debt? Yes. But more importantly, they're leaving with what should be the most precious thing, which is their lives, the bread. You get to live to see another day, to make more money. Money can be made, folks. This is the fallacy that all these people are believing, is that there's no way to make money, or make enough money to get out of this. And there is. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I mean, please, some of them like, 100 million, which is $100,000. Yeah, 100 million won is like $100,000 US. For some of them who said he's 500 million, that's 500,000. I think there's a few in there that might be close to $1 million of debt. Is it a lot? Absolutely. But it is recoverable. It is possible to get out of that debt. There's so many ways to manage debt, even in societies that are capitalists. So they're not looking at all of that. They're still looking for the quick win. They're still looking for the easy money. That's what people who rely on playing the lottery are hoping for. They don't want to work for the money. They want a quick win. The people who gamble, they don't want to work for it. They want a quick win, right? So that mentality has not changed even in the game. They don't want to do the work to get out of the debt that they put themselves into. And again, I know there's a handful of situations where that debt was not something that they did from poor choices. For example, the dad of the sick girl, right? But for many of them, they're there because they made poor choices that landed them in this situation, or they made a choice that unfortunately did not go the way they wanted, aka Mr. Bitcoin. But the reality is that they're still making the same decision of gambling and trying to get something for nothing. And it's like, that's very rarely happens. Yes, the lottery does get won, but not by the masses, right? So anyway, coming back, we see that this whole idea again on the one more game, right? They get through the six-legged race, barely. A lot of people died. We lost over 100 people. Right? Compared to the first game, there's 456. The first game, they lost almost 200, right? So less than the first game, but still a decent amount of people, right? And you'd think that after that, once again, Gian is thinking, all right, y'all saw that this gets significantly harder. We lost 5 people at a time versus individual people who didn't follow the rules of the red light, green light. This has got to be it, right? This has got to be the wake-up call. Right? But instead, what do we see? We see the prize pot come down, the announcement of how much money is left. And instead of being like, okay, you know what? At least we're getting some money, we're getting out. That's all I get. More people didn't die. I thought more people died than that. Recount, like just the absolute lack of gratitude for their lives, the absolute lack of respect for life in that moment. Like true colors are coming out left, right, and center for some of the people in there, right? And so this is where we're starting to see Gian really, again, even in that vote, when they decide to do the vote again, and we see that people are clearly deciding whether or not, like Gian's about to give another speech and he doesn't get a chance to do that before, of course, Mr. Plant goes in and tries to do it. But we see that even Ino didn't get to finish his speech before the old dude comes up and is basically kind of like we saw last season with the person who said that when they came back and everything was going, it was with the first vote, that's right, where some of them said to him, like, I'm not going to have a life on the outside anyways. Like, if I leave here and I don't have the money to pay my debts, I'm going to be taken out, or they're going to torture me, or whatever the case may be. So I'm either going to die out there or I'm going to die in here, right? So sort of somewhat the same mentality is going on with so many of the people that are competing this time around, right? But we see that in the end, he's saying that the old man was like, look, what I owe, this money is not even going to pay the interest on it. Like, as far as I'm concerned, my life ends here if I can't make more money. And then we hear other people say the same thing, right? And then, of course, we see the counter side of things, right? We see that the timid girl that we've seen, what is her name? Oh my goodness, I'm sorry, I forgot. But the timid girl who's part of the underdog team, and she says, like, I'm genuinely scared, guys. Like, I want to go home because this is too much for me. Like, I don't want to die here, right? And she starts to cry. You see a few people kind of feel it somewhat like, okay, I feel a bit guilty about this. But then we have another dude who tries to turn it around and say, yeah, well, I feel like, again, he's like, I'm in debt and my family and me don't have a second chance if this doesn't work out. So I'm not willing to go home with nothing. Or in his mind, 70K is nothing. But he's like, that's not enough for me to go home with. So, and he starts his crying, right? But again, for me, I'm like, you're weighing out the shame of going home with less money than to pay off your debt versus dying, which again, says, but if you die in here, your family has no dad, no money, no body to even bury. They have less than nothing, and it's still worth it to you, right? So it's just, again, the presentation that Gian and even Inho this time, pretending he's in there with him, of presenting the very real possibilities. Like, you've seen, these people are dying. They're not going home. They are not taking the money. They're not even going to get to live another day. They're not breathing. Is that really You're saying your life is not worth trying again. Like, and some people are young in there, right? And that one dude is like, oh, you're young enough to try again. Me and my family are done. Bro, I looked at him. That man couldn't be more than 40. Mid 40s, maybe early 50s. Bro, life's over for you at 40? Hello? The average lifespan of people these days is at least 80 years old unless you get an illness. What do you mean you're done at 40? Stop it, right? The point is that these people keep choosing the lottery, right? They're pushing away the bread at all costs so that they can continue to gamble. Because the idea of this money is now above everything. We're seeing it. They don't even care. They feel nothing. The people who died, oh, well, more of them should have died, right? All of them are starting to think this way now. They're just completely disregarding the lives of others. Like last season, I feel like there was a little bit more reverence for the people who died, with the exception of the gangsters. But now this overall apathy is developing with so many of them now. They're just kind of like, you know what, I gotta do what I gotta do, right? And so anyways, we get into, the vote, and we see that after the old man basically hyping everyone up saying, look, we'll do one more game, right? He's like, if we get one more game, whoever survives, the pot will be big. We'll stop there. It'll be enough for us to go home then. Yeah, right. Just one more hit, right? I'm gonna quit the drugs. Just one more hit. Just one more drink, just one more lottery ticket, right? Just one more. We've heard the just one more. It's never just one more, right? When you're an addict, there's never just one more. There's always going to be excuse to have yet another, right? So anyway, they have the vote, and we see there's a few people that we've been focusing on that make decisions that people don't necessarily like, right? We see that Gyeon's friend, Junbae votes to stay, which I knew he would. The way he was looking at that ball, we saw that Gyeon actually saw it in his face. I think he already knew that he was going to vote that way, but he votes that way. Hyunju votes that way, but I knew that she was going to do that as well. But we noticed how quiet she was when the mom there, the old lady, was trying to invite everybody to dinner. Bless her heart, she's so sweet. But anyway, the fact that she was so slow to respond, I was like, yeah, Hyunju's staying. And I think for the obvious reasons, right? I mean, we saw in the conversation afterwards that she, talks about the fact that she's not done with her transition surgery. So that's cost a lot of money. As I said, I'm pretty certain it's not being covered by insurance there. So it's coming out of pocket. So anyway, she votes to stay. Who else voted that they didn't want to? Was that it? I think that was it. But either way, we see that this is really where it's starting to really sink into Gyeon, that his plan, his idea of telling people that he's been through it before, and them seeing the horrors of the death and all these things, the things he thinks is going to shake everybody into not wanting to continue. None of it is working for the most part. There is still a good chunk, because we're seeing the votes are still not that far off, right? I think they're only off by about 10 people or so, right? So there's still a good chunk of people who are shook enough to want to go home. But again, not enough, right? The overall sentiment that he was hoping would happen is not happening. And I keep saying this because that's what keeps coming out to me, is that he's really just not remembering where his mindset was in the last game. Now, to be fair, Gyeon, by the time they got to game 3, was ready to go home, right? He really was over seeing people die. Because at this point, he was starting to form attachments to people that were dying. So that's really when he started, because, he was really into it. He was willing to play ball pretty much up to game 3, game 4. But when it started to get really real for him that, wow, people I care about are not making it through this. People are having to sacrifice themselves for me. And really, I think his breaking point was the Ganbu game, right? Which he talked about in this episode, of where they had to start taking out each other, where the teamwork wasn't going to work anymore. That's really what started to break him down. So he's kind of thinking that this is what's going to happen to these people, but he's forgetting that was far into the game for him. For these folks, they're still, this is still the early part of the game for them. For them, they're like, what? This is still, for those of us who are making it, why would we stop now, right? It's like a gambler's high, right? You get that winning streak, they're not going to stop, right? A gambling addict does not know to stop when the winning is good. They always want to keep going, and that's what inevitably pushes them into over the edge into the losses, right? So anyways, the vote happens, and some people are upset, but then we get to learn a little bit more about characters and their motivations behind it. We find out that Junbae owes quite a bit more money that he owes to loan sharks, and that he said one of the reasons they got divorced is because the loan sharks were threatening his family, and he did not want them to be endangered. So he divorced them and has been staying away from them to protect them. And then we find out again the confirmation of what I already assumed with Hyunju, that not only does she want to get the surgery to be completed and get the money for that, but she's saying that living in Korea is basically impossible for her now. And I said that before, didn't I? I'm like, Korea's not exactly, it's still a very conservative society. They are still not as open-minded when it comes to the spectrum of sexuality and all the different things that happen within that. So yeah, living in Korea at this point in time would be virtually impossible unless Hyunju decided going forward to not lie, but hide the fact that they transitioned, right? The only hope she would have would be to basically allow people to assume she'd always been a woman. Like that would be the only way. And so that would be very difficult because also, some of y'all may not know this, but in Korea, the way that their birth, you're assigned a number, and I think it's like a social insurance slash serial, like, here in Canada, we would call it like a SIN number, a social insurance number that's assigned to you at birth. But here in Canada, it's just a random number system that's generated based on when you were born. Whereas in Korea, the numbering system is actually set up a certain way to differentiate male and female. So you can just by hearing somebody's number, and I can't remember the name of that number, but by hearing that number, you'll know if they're male or female and immediately from that. So as far as I know, currently in Korea, if you transition, you still can't go and change your number to the other gender's number. So my point being that even if Hyunju wanted to try and hide it, if someone got to know them well enough and never saw that number, they'd be like, wait, why do you have a man's number when you're, you know what I'm saying? So that's not something that she can easily hide. So it's understandable that she wants to start a life someplace else where they are more open and accepting of her for who she is. So anyway, hearing that, of course, the people are like, all right, we get it. We understand why you're willing to risk it, because in Hyunju's mind, if she can't finish her surgeries and she can't work and she can't live, like her life is effectively over regardless, sadly, right? At least a good quality of life, I should say. So you understand that for her side. And was that it? I think those are the main ones. Yeah, as far as people who voted yes. So yeah, once people kind of hear these stories, understandably, Gian is still upset, but I think he's understanding that people have their motivations. The same way back in season 1, if you had asked him after game 2 why he continued on, he would have given a very similar answer, right? He would have been like, I still owe money. I owe these people who said they're going to cut my eyeballs out if I don't do this. I have to save my daughter. Like, you know what I mean? He had all these reasons that seemed really important 3 years ago. So that's kind of what we got as far as the vote in the games and the understanding of this mentality, that gambling mentality of one more game, one more time. Everyone so far is like, yeah, we're totally going to quit after the next one. The next one for sure. Of course they're not, right? As long as the idea that one person can walk away with that big pot is there, no one's quitting next time. The people who voted yes this time, at least the ones who didn't do it under duress, they're going to vote yes next time too. Let's just put that out there. But outside of that, this episode did a lot of focus on Ino, right? Ino, aka Young-il, who again, another huge red flag that I'm hoping that Guillaume picks up on. Like, really? This guy just coincidentally has a name that is the same as the number he's wearing? That doesn't feel made up at all? You don't think? Okay. But anyhow, Ino was definitely working his magic as far as the mind game, the game within the game that he's been playing with Gian since he decided to enter. And as I said, I'm very curious to know where his head is at this point, right? Because like in the game we saw in the beginning of the episode when he was playing the six-legged race game, we know he was messing around at the end, right? He absolutely could have spun that top from the first shot, but he wanted to make it dramatic, right? He had to do the whole thing, his whole throwing himself into the acting of pretending he was freaking out, all of that. I'm like, is that really you getting, wanting to get involved in the experience of the game? Or are you just really just doing this for fun? It's hard to say at this point, but either way, he's in this right now. And as I've said, he keeps doing these little things, right? Like he's working to get Guillen's trust, which is smart because Guillen definitely is hyper suspicious of everyone right now. But also I believe that he's just trying to get more into Guillen's head. He wants to know what he needs to do to break down Guillen's confidence on the one hand, but also I feel like he's having fun seeing, whatever Guillen is planning kind of fall apart, right? Because we heard that when Guillen wanted to enter these games back in episode 2, Guillen said, I want to prove to you that things don't work out the way you want them to, right? So it seems like what Ino is doing is not inadvertently, he's working to make sure that Guillen's prediction doesn't come true. He wants it so that all Guillen's plans to mess everything up don't work out. And so far it's been working, right? From actually, the only thing that went his way was the red light, green light game. But ever since then, nothing has worked out the way Guillen has wanted. He's lost confidence in the people. As we see, this group is very much becoming more materialistic with every game. People are, what else? The games are not what he expected. Like he thought he had the advantage of knowing the games ahead of time. The games have been changed. Like he just keeps doing these little things. And the fact that he keeps kind of hyping Gian up and being like, yeah, we trust you. Yeah, you're the leader. Yeah, you're the winner. We trust you, bro. Whatever you say, if we win, it's going to be because you helped us, right? All these things of kind of putting Gian on this pedestal so that he's set up more and more and more for failure every time things don't work out. Because remember, he went from episode 1 being like, oh wow, he got us through the first game, to now being in this episode, the crazy guy. Why is this crazy guy still here? All the stuff he says doesn't happen. None of it comes true. He said a lot of people wouldn't survive. Look how many people survived the game, right? So this little game that Ino's playing of trying to break down Gian's mind, right? Basically making Gian doubt himself, right? We heard that this episode when he was talking to Junbei, when he was like, I came in here thinking that I protect everybody, but now I'm starting to wonder what my place is here, right? So this is exactly what Ino wanted. He wants to shake Gian's conviction, right? Because if that starts to happen, then Gian might get lost and swept up in the games all over again, which I think is what Ino really wants, but digressing. But also, he's systematically breaking down the faith that people have in Gian as like the savior that they kind of build him up to be in the beginning, right? So really the only people, he went from having almost everyone trust him after episode 2 to now only having this close-knit group of people who care about him really trust him. So it's interesting to watch this whole thing go down, and I'm interested because in the beginning, the first episode in the last episode in some of this one, Ino was doing a lot of those little private smirks and those little smug looks when things were going down. But in the last little part of this episode, to me, his expressions became a bit more unreadable. So I'm not sure what's going on with him, because we have to realize that even with last season with Il Nam started out the game very much just having a good old time and not really caring. But as the game went on and the closer he got to Gian, he actually started to be genuinely affected by the connections he was making in the game. So I am wondering whether or not some of this is similarly happening to Ino, right? He probably went in thinking, yeah, this is going to be another game, I got this. But now the more time he's spending with these people, genuinely spending with these people and seeing these stories that, again, I think that before, as the front man, he never saw. Like, of course he had all those screens and stuff, but he's not watching every little thing. He doesn't have time for all that. He never got to see what went down. He didn't get to see that people are getting bullied in the bathrooms and dealing with all that while dealing with the games. He didn't get to see that there might be a pregnant woman who's in here who's trying to get through this and dealing with carrying a full-term baby while also doing all this, right? So I do think there are some things that he didn't anticipate, and that some of them are starting to affect him in ways that maybe he didn't see coming. But it's hard to say because he's doing a very good job of keeping his face pretty neutral, especially towards the end of this episode. He definitely is looking a little less readable to me as far as being satisfied or dissatisfied with the way things are going. But either way, we'll have to see how that goes. But outside of that, we had a quick, very, very quick snippet of what's going on the outside, which is that the teams that are going to go out and search for the island haven't disembarked for now. We got 2 boatfuls of people, which is not a lot. The military guys, the paramilitary guys are kind of turning out to be douches, so I feel like they're probably not going to make it. They're already starting to tick me off a little bit. But as I said, I still don't trust that Captain Park. The guy, I just, something about him is still not sitting right with me. But either way, they're going to be going north and south trying to look for these islands now and seeing whether or not they're able to find anything. But apparently they're planning to be out for at least a week. They're not going to come back after one day. They're hoping to stay out there if the weather holds, because they just need to keep looking and not be deterred by weather or anything else. Because as we heard from Juno, they only have like 4 days at this point before there won't be anyone left to save outside of one person potentially. So that's kind of what's going on there. And then we started off a new game at the end of the episode. So this one, I'm very interested to see how that goes because it's brand new to us too. And I'm glad we got that. I mean, it would have been very easy for the show to continue using the same sets from last year, or last time I should say, and just kind of keep going and maybe add minor twists. But I do like that they're giving us brand new games and brand new scenarios to figure out what's going on. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching along with me. If you did, please show some love, and I will see you in the next one.